If you'd like to float around the court like Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, or any other top tennis player, then you've clicked on exactly the right video. You're about to learn how they look so smooth and effortless moving around the court, and more importantly, how you can do the exact same thing. Let's jump right into an example of Roger, and we're going to study the different phases of his movement here. First and foremost, as his partner hits on the other side, he lifts up in a neutral position. And what that does is it gives him the option to be able to come down and move in either direction. But what specifically allows him to float is how both feet do not come down flat on the court. Watch this again. Watch carefully. His right foot comes down first, and watch his left foot. It never really plants and lands on the court until he makes a pivot out to the side to where he can actually move to his left and go get that backhand. So unlike a traditional split step, which you've probably heard about a lot, he's not coming straight up, coming straight down, then having to take additional steps to lift a foot, pivot, and turn to his left, and then start to move. He's seamlessly lifting, then before coming down, pivoting, and then he puts himself in a running position on the way down so he can immediately take his momentum and energy and drive himself out in the direction of the ball. So when you do this, you don't have the need for extra additional steps. You can seamlessly come up, read the ball, come down, and then float and push in the direction the ball is going. And so while using that method, look at how far he's able to travel with just one pivot and then one additional step. He's essentially able to cover that whole half of the singles court. And key here is he lifts up not knowing where the ball is going. So this is critical. As he lifts, look at how he's in a neutral position here. His chest is facing forwards towards the net, his hips are facing forwards towards the net, and both his feet are pointed forwards as well. So from this position, he could just as easily plant his left foot and pivot out to the right, or plant his right foot and pivot out to the left. So this gives him the option of being able to float or flow in either direction seamlessly on the way down. I'm going to show you a drill on how you can practice this and learn how to do this just a second. But first, let's look at an example of Novak as well. Check out this point that Novak played during practice. He's going to hit a backhand return, recover, hit a forehand, get a short ball, come forwards, attack, and put it away. And that all looks great, right? He's moving around the court really smoothly and efficiently. And let's go ahead and break down exactly why and how that's able to happen. So as he prepares for the serve to get hit, just like Roger, he's starting off in a fully neutral body position. So look at right here. His hips are facing right towards his opponent, his chest is facing towards his opponent, and both feet are facing forwards as well. So just like Roger, from this position, if the ball goes to his right, he could plant his left foot and pivot to the right. Or if the ball goes to his left, he could plant his right foot and pivot and move out to the left. So options here are endless, which is critical when you're receiving a 120, 130 mile an hour serve. You have to be able to seamlessly transition in either direction depending on where the ball goes. So the ball goes, we know it goes to his backhand. As he comes down, watch his left foot. It never really fully comes in contact with the court. You see how it just kind of drifts over the surface of the court and just kind of floats there? So he's never putting his weight on his left foot. And that's because he's reading on the way down it's going to be a backhand. And so he decides to plant on his right foot, and his left foot instead has the option of flowing and pivoting out to the left to move out for that backhand. Then, after hitting the backhand return to serve, he goes into a recovery movement back towards the middle, and right here, this shuffle step becomes his split step. He knows that he can't stop on this side of the court and just get ready because that would leave too much open court in this direction. So he has to continue moving his momentum towards the center, but he also does want to lift and unweight his body and neutralize his body, because his opponent knows that if Novak were to turn in this direction and just run in this direction, he could easily hit back this way and hit behind him and stress Novak or just hit a winner. So what Novak is doing here is super critical. He's not guessing that the ball is going to the right. Instead, he's lifting, again, neutrally from this position. See how he's facing forwards? He could plant his right foot and then pivot to the left if his opponent did in fact hit back behind him. But that didn't happen. The ball did in fact go to the right, so he's able to seamlessly maintain his momentum, maintain his energy out to the right. And watch how he comes down. On his way down from that shuffle, his left foot plants and his right foot seamlessly pivots out to the right. So he's able to conserve his momentum completely, and while also having the option, if he needed to plant this foot and pivot this one out to the left. Normal tennis players do not move like this. First of all, normal tennis players don't even split step in the first place, so they're not even neutralizing themselves and unweighting themselves to get their energy and their momentum going. They're literally just standing in a ready position. Maybe they're recovering, but there isn't any kind of precise, timed neutralization of the body as the ball gets hit on the other side of the court. And so things end up getting really clunky and jerky and inefficient, and there just isn't the same feeling of smoothness and efficiency because there isn't this process, this cycle of lifting, coming down, reading, and flowing to the left or flowing to the right. So after hitting this forehand, the ball goes to his partner. He's recovering back towards the center. Again, you're going to see him lift right here just before the ball gets hit. And now guess what? Again, he's in a perfectly neutral position. Chest facing forwards, hips facing forwards, both feet facing forwards. So whether the ball goes left or right or short, he has the option of coming down and pointing whichever foot he needs to in the direction he needs to travel. And so watch how he plants his left foot, pivots his right foot, and watch how his right foot, again, never comes in full contact with the court. The ball of his foot does, but his full foot never really comes in full contact with the court. And so that balance on his left foot allows him to pivot and turn his right foot really seamlessly and smoothly, and then move in that direction to go hit the ball and put it away. So this is how the world's best players do it. Let's see how a normal tennis player does it. So here's a point that I played against a recent student. And just first watch him in full motion, and I want you to watch his flow around the court. First of all, you'll notice that he is split stepping, and he is unweighting himself and neutralizing himself. But see how there's just not that same flow, and things are just a little bit more clunky. He doesn't have the same smoothness as he moves from shot to shot. So let's watch why. After he hits his serve and I get ready to hit my return, he does a great job of lifting and balancing himself, but unlike Novak, when he comes down onto the court, both feet fully come in contact with the court. So the good news is he's neutral, and I should give him a little bit more credit than that. His heels are up, he's a little bit up on the balls of his feet, so that's good, but both feet come down before he knows whether the ball is going right or left. So he doesn't have the option of doing this flow step to the right or to the left, and things aren't as smooth and flowing for that reason. So after both feet fully come down on the court, he has to re-engage, and even though this is a move to the right, watch his pattern here. Both feet come down, then his left foot picks up, even though that's not the foot that needs to move to get himself moving to the right. Then after aligning his left foot, his right foot finally pivots, and now he's starting to move in the direction of the ball. So he just had to add, in effect, 2 full different moves or steps with his feet, not like strides, but his left foot had to turn, then his right foot had to turn. And all of that was being accomplished by Novak and Roger seamlessly before their weight actually got fully down on the court. My student, on the other hand, is coming all the way down, then having to, again, pick one foot up, then pick the other foot up, and then he's ready to move to the side towards the ball. So he's continuing to cycle through a process of, yes, unweighting and neutralizing himself, but also coming to a partially kind of static or stop position, which is why he's not able to have the same look of smoothness back and forth. Here's a drill that we did that you can copy so that you can start to get that same flow and smoothness that the pros do. You can do this at home with a partner or with a teammate or with a coach. All I'm doing is I'm standing on the service line with 2 balls, 1 in each hand, and I'm going to drop a ball either to my student's right or to my student's left. I'm going to wait for him to initiate a split step, then I'm going to drop, and his goal is if the ball goes to the right, to plant his left foot and pivot his right foot before hitting the court, ideally. Or if the ball goes to the left, he's going to plant his right foot and seamlessly pivot his left foot. So here's how that looks in practice. I'm going to wait for him to make his split, drop the ball, and right off the bat, you see how smooth he's coming down and then flowing in the direction of the ball? This takes some practice and obviously takes some coordination and ideally some quick reading of the direction of the ball. But once you start getting the hang of it, you can save your energy and actually flow in the direction the ball is headed. So watch him move through this in slow motion. He's up in the air. Now I've dropped the ball. On his way down, he's reading the direction that the ball is traveling, which allows him to plant his right foot, smoothly pivot his left foot without taking any additional steps, and then his momentum can flow in that direction. Now here's that same player implementing the flow during a live rally. Watch the difference here in his ability to move quickly and smoothly and efficiently in the direction of the ball. This is such a huge difference because now instead of both feet coming down flat on the court and having to take additional steps, he's able to plant, pivot, and just like Roger in the example we looked at earlier, seamlessly and smoothly move his momentum in the direction of the ball. Now I'll hit over to his forehand side, and at this point right here, he's neutral. So whether the ball goes right or left, he's covered. He could go either direction. The key here is initiating your split step at exactly the right time so that on the way down, you can seamlessly read the direction of the ball and then plant the correct foot and then seamlessly and smoothly shift your momentum in the direction the ball is traveling. This isn't always necessary or frankly practical for every single shot in tennis, but if you start to practice it and integrate it, especially on balls that are further away from you, you'll start to cover so much more court. And if you want to continue to improve your efficiency and your footwork, make sure you check out this video that's on the screen right now. It'll help you a lot.